Are you looking to make a big change in your life? Maybe you're looking to make a lifestyle change. Maybe you have to make better food choices or start an exercise program after years or even decades of a sedentary lifestyle. Or maybe you're just recognizing that a more positive habit, such as journaling or a daily gratitude practice, could have some positive impact on your life. Choosing a new habit and instilling it is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to do, but dropping bad habits and adopting positive good habits that support your well-being can have dramatic results in your life. It's not easy though, but there's something that can help, and that something is motivation. If you are new here, this is Motivation Code. Motivation Code is an assessment that tells you how you're motivated. It takes the stories of fulfillment from your life and uses decades of motivational science research and builds a report for you that tells you your motivational dimensions, how you are motivated, how you click, what is going to make life easier. When you know how you're motivated, when you're looking to adopt new habits, you can better motivate yourself and use motivation as a leverage to instill good habits for your well-being. First, what kind of bad habits do we all have? Sometimes we end up going to the doctor and have our blood work done, and the numbers come back with maybe some encouragement to make some lifestyle choices. Maybe it's time for us to drop a bad habit like smoking or overeating. Maybe it's time for us to start exercising more regularly. Maybe it's as simple as drinking more water. We could have news drop that tells us that we have to make a lifestyle change, and that is uncomfortable. It is pushing us out of our comfort zones of the way we have always done things that have always been just okay, maybe less than ideal, and it's telling us it's time. It's a wake-up call, and we need to make more positive choices. You're not alone in having those kinds of wake-up calls. It happens to the best of us. Maybe it's pulling out our favorite bathing suit at the start of summer and finding out that it's just not working anymore. No matter what wake-up call we have, that we need to adopt more healthy habits, it's time to make a change. Why is making a lifestyle change like this so difficult? Well, when you're looking to change your habits, you're up against momentum. You're up against the way things have always been done. You're up against neural pathways. It's almost as if your mind has a road in it and you've driven down that road so many times that it's created a path, and that's the easiest way to go. It's the shortcut to whatever outcome you're looking for. Building new neural pathways in our mind is not necessarily easy. It's like writing with your non-dominant hand. It feels uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel comfortable. I've been told often that comfort zones kill, that becoming too comfortable can lead you down a path of extreme discomfort. By making hard decisions and saying, I'm going to make a change, and then leveraging motivation to support that decision, you can find greater success. You can find greater success in changing some of those neural pathways. When you're choosing a new lifestyle, when you're choosing a new habit, making those changes can be incredibly difficult. There's a lot of reasons why you might not have a clear purpose. I mean, if it's just your doctor telling you that it's time to start exercising or it's time to put away the cookies and the donuts, that kind of negative motivation is definitely not comfortable. It's important for us to shift the perspective in our mind and start looking for our purpose. Now, if it's your health that you're looking at, look around at all of the people who rely on you, all of the people who are close to you, who need you to stay healthy. It could be your kids, your spouse, it could be anyone. All of these people rely on you. They rely on you to care for them, to not become a burden to them. When you can shift the perspective of how important your self-care is, that can help a lot with motivation. Your environment can trigger you if you are going to the same grocery store and walking up and down the same aisles every single day, and you walk by the same baked goods that you're no longer supposed to be eating. That could be a trigger. It's important to change your routines and change your daily habits if you're looking to make a new habit stick. Emotional obstacles can become an issue if you're not managing stress well. you might numb the stress that you're dealing with on a daily basis. And not having anyone to answer to, not having some accountability. If you just go to your doctor for some test results and then they send you on your merry way and say, try to do better, and don't have any accountability, it's harder to stick to a routine. You are the sum of the choices that you're making on a daily basis. If you go a few days without exercising, you're probably going to be okay. But if you go a few weeks without exercising, it's almost like you're starting from zero again. An all or nothing mindset can also get in the way of making better choices. If you have it in your mind that being healthy means that you can run 5 miles every single day, but you're starting out only being able to run 4 houses down the road, you are setting yourself up for failure. Not having a plan can make things incredibly difficult, especially if you're motivated by having an actual action plan in place. Now, not all people are motivated by this. If you are an orchestrator or an optimizer, having a plan in place is going to make you much more comfortable with making lifestyle changes and habitual choices. But if you're a visionary, you might just be motivated with going by what feels motivating right in the moment and doing something different every single time. You may have conflicting habits that get in the way. If you are trying to cut back on alcohol consumption, but your friends all meet up at the bar every Friday night, it can be incredibly difficult to change a habit in that regard because you have so many people around you who are encouraging you to make bad choices. This is where your motivation can step in and be more supportive to you. Decision fatigue when you are trying to change a habit can be a huge problem. Here's the deal. You've made a decision and now you are going to go against the momentum of your life, the way you have always been doing things, and you're going to have to make a decision every time this comes up. If you make a decision that every morning you're going to get up and go for a walk, and for the past 20 years, you have been getting up every morning and having a cup of coffee, you are going to have to make a decision every single morning to get up, put your shoes on, and go for a walk first before you have the coffee. And it is not going to feel comfortable. If you have to make that decision multiple times in a day, if you have a habit that you are doing every single day, as soon as the impetus for that habit shows up in your world, you're going to have to decide not to do it and replace it with something else. This decision fatigue can wear you down. It can put you behind the 8 ball, and it can even mean sliding back into old habits that you no longer want to keep. Life disruptions can get in the way of establishing a new habit. You've established a habit at home, you're eating healthy, you know what your meals are, and now all of a sudden you have a work trip and you have to go away for an entire week and eat on someone else's schedule and eat what other people are eating and end up in airports where there's never the food choices that you want. You're going to have to plan for that. If you don't plan for working through this kind of life disruption, it could derail you from establishing a positive life change. So what do you do? How do you establish a good habit and get rid of bad habits when it seems like your entire psychology is stacked against you? The momentum of your life is stacked against you. Well, according to the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, you have to start small. You have to start with small incremental steps in order to change a big habit. Now, in Atomic Habits, James Clear outlines 4 laws for creating good habits. 1, make it obvious. Make sure that your environment is designed to make sure that that decision and that new habit is right in front of you all the time. Make it attractive. You pair it with an action you need to do. You make that new habit much more appealing. Make it easy by reducing friction around that new good habit. Make it easier to perform the good habit than it is to perform the bad habit. Make it satisfying. Use reinforcement and rewards to make good habits feel good and bad habits feel unsatisfying. So if you're trying to make a lifestyle change and you are changing your diet, it is really important to get rid of all of the foods in the house that were of the old bad habits and fill the house with the foods that support the new good habits. It's really important to tie your habit with a purpose. If you don't know what your purpose is, there's some questions you can ask yourself. What do you want your life to look like? When at the end of your life and you look back, what do you want it to look like? How does does that new good habit support that vision of what your life should be? What will make your life feel significant? What can your good new habit do in order to make your life feel like it's more on purpose? What will give your life greater meaning? What does your life look like as you're going through the journey of this change? One thing that's been good for me, because I know that I am an influencer, as I go through a life change, I think about how I can share what I'm learning through that experience to help other people who are going through similar types of changes. What will be the story of your change? What story will you tell in 5 years when you look back and tell people how you dropped a bad habit and started a new one? It's really important to create an identity around the new habit that you are establishing. For example, if you are dropping smoking, you tell people you are a non-smoker. And if you are a non-smoker, do you smoke? No, that bad habit is not a part of your new identity. If you are a runner, you are running every day. If you are a strength trainer, you are lifting heavy things. Assign an identity to yourself of who you are once this new behavior becomes a habit. Make that identity and that habit tied together, and it will make sticking with that new habit much easier because it's a part of who you are. Now, that new identity might not feel comfortable at first. Again, we are going against the momentum of your life. We are shifting things into an entirely new way. We are creating new neural pathways in our brain. All of this is very uncomfortable, but with this discomfort comes growth, comes opportunity. It creates a new you. It creates new opportunities for you to find out who you really are and what you really can accomplish. Make sure your new habits are not negotiable. For example, it's very easy for things to get in the way of going to the gym and exercising, or get in the way of having a decent meal. You're traveling and I was just hungry, I needed to eat something. Or someone wants to schedule a meeting and it's a meeting you really want to have with someone who's important to a project that you're trying to complete, but it's right in the middle of your lunchtime power workout session. What do? What's more important, accommodating to that person's schedule or making sure that you stick to the commitment you've made to yourself? Now, if you want to care about yourself, you have to stick to the commitment that you've made for yourself because that meeting can happen any other time. Make sure that the commitments that you are making to yourself take a precedent, take a priority. When you do that, you redefine who you really are. You redefine yourself as someone who takes care of yourself, someone who makes your exercise routine, if that's what you're changing, something that is a priority. It's really important to start small with any change that you're going to make. You're not going to go couch to 5K in 3 days. It's really important to start out incrementally. Start out with something that feels comfortable, something that you know you can do, that you can find some success with. If you're quitting a bad habit and you have to stay away from something that is going to trigger you, if you're quitting smoking and all of your friends go and have cigarette breaks in the middle of the day outside, make a commitment to yourself that small. I'm not going to do that today. Or if that feels like too much, I'm not going to do that this morning. There's a reason why 12-step programs really focus on one day at a time. It makes a huge monumental change much easier if you just make a commitment to who you are going to be today. Or if it's really hard, who am I going to be for the next 60 minutes? When you can start small, it can make new habits much easier to acclimate to. Let's talk about motivation and changing habits. If you know how you're motivated, this gives you additional leverage to changing your life. If you know that you're an achiever, if you have taken the Motivation Code assessment, you know that you are motivated by recognition and reward. You want to do amazing big things, and you want other people to recognize that you have done amazing big things. Now, when you're doing something that is a longer range project, you need to chunk things down and celebrate your small wins. An achiever wants to be rewarded and recognized. That means that you find other people in your life who know that you're committing to a big habit change, and they can cheer you on. They can be your accountability as well, but they can reward you and recognize you for the achievements that you're making making by sticking to your new habits. Now, learners might want to learn about every single intricacy about the new habit that they're adopting. Let's say a learner is going to decide to become a triathlon athlete after sitting on the sofa for 20 years. This learner might want to learn everything that they need to know about swimming in a large body of water, or bike maintenance should the bike break down, or running for distances. They might study what other successful triathlon athletes had done in the past and find out what the pitfalls are. And as they learn more about this and go on the journey of becoming this new person and creating these new habits that support that goal, they will want to share that journey with others. If you are a learner and you are going on a journey like that, make sure you're taking notes and keep track of all of the things that you're learning so that you can share this with others. If you're an influencer, same type of thing. Influencers like to help other people become more empowered. If you're an influencer, keep notes on the things that you're doing as you change habits, because there's other people who are going to go on the journey after you. Help the person that you were 5 years ago become what you are today. Now, if you're an optimizer, you like to optimize the entire process of whatever you're doing. Leverage that motivational dimension to make sure that you have a plan and make sure you're finding every opportunity to optimize your new habit. Optimize routines so that when you walk into the kitchen in the morning, if you're changing your diet, that you can go in there and you can see that your new food choices are readily available and you optimize all of your macros, everything like that. There's plenty of opportunities for an optimizer to plan for success if they're changing a habit. It's really important to celebrate small wins. I know a lot of people who are high performers that are trying to make big changes happen in their lives, and those big changes take time. They never give themselves the opportunity to really celebrate how far they've come. If you're just getting started, you might celebrate, hey, wow, I stuck with it for a week. Set something in your calendar to celebrate when you get to the 6-month mark of a new habit. If you have kept a new habit going for 6 months, that's something to celebrate. Every year, I celebrate the fact that I walk every morning. There have been just a handful of times that I haven't walked every single morning. I've needed to do some other health things in order to build muscle and get my diet in line, but I had to celebrate something that felt just routine. It was my new habit. That's the thing. Your new habit is going to become your routine eventually. It's going to be something that you're not celebrating anymore. It's important to look back at how far you've come. Now, I've done walking every single morning for 14 years. Does that mean I stopped celebrating? No, it means that I reward myself and say, you know what, the fact that you're doing it every single morning, even if, you have to rely on the fact that the dog needs a walk to get out and do that, still celebrate who you are, celebrate what you're doing, and make sure you give yourself the rewards that you need in order to maintain those good habits for the long run. Of course, it's really important to be patient. If you are trying to make a big change in your life, you're going to trip up. There's going to be a new restaurant in town and you're going to want to try something if your diet is changing. But the great thing is, if you do change your life and change your habits to the point where the routine is a healthy equilibrium, you have a baseline of healthy choices. When the new restaurant comes to town and has the cheesecake you absolutely positively must try, you can fit that in. I hope that this discussion about habits motivates you to look at how you could change small things in your life in order to make your life better. And I hope you take the motivation code assessment to help leverage those positive decisions. You are the only person that you have to live with for the entirety of your life. You move away from your parents. Your kids grow up and move away. Friends come and go. Coworkers come and go. But there's one constant in your life, and that's you. And you deserve to be taken care of, and you deserve to be the one taking care of yourself. You're the only one that's ever going to really care for yourself the way you deserve to be cared for. You need to adopt those good habits that support the best you that you can be. Motivation Code is going to help you do that because you're going to understand who you are. It's going to help you make better decisions about what you deserve so you find greater fulfillment in your life. It's going to help you leverage those good decisions because you're going to know how you're motivated. When things feel uncomfortable, when you feel uncertain, when you feel like you can't do it, you can play those games in your mind to encourage yourself to get out there and to stick with the good habits that are going to support change in your life. If this video helped you, give me a like. Subscribe to our channel for more content just like this. Motivation Code isn't only about making sure that teams are working together, although it's amazing when that happens. But Motivation Code is really about helping you live your best life possible. Motivation Code is really about you finding the motivation within yourself to live your best life. Thanks for watching.